What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you my next 10 reviews, which is a video I like to make every couple of months just to keep people informed about what I've got going on, what I plan on taking a look at next, etc. And in this particular case, that includes a handful of titles set to release in the next few months, as the beginning of 2023 is definitely packed, and it's looking to be a big year overall. But there will also be several older games interspersed in between those releases, and because of that, the exact order you see these in is a little bit up in the air. And given that there are quite a few games that still don't actually have release dates but are set to release this year, some of this could change a little bit, but in general, this is what the next couple of months look like in terms of games I'm reviewing. Though as an aside, while I didn't include it here, I am right now working through the title known as Blacktail, which is a short game that should be done relatively quickly. So you guys will see that review pretty quickly as well, so I didn't include it as part of this list. Now, first up we have Forspoken, which is launching the same day this video is going live. That's not a game I got a review code for, but I will be taking a look at it. The early reviews for the title have been mixed, to put it politely, though I have seen one or two positive ones, and situations like that actually make me more curious, especially because Forspoken was supposed to be this big next-gen AAA title. So while it's easy to jump into a situation like that and be like, oh, this game isn't good at all, personally, that actually just piques my curiosity. I want to see this for myself and then make a video about it. But I do have to 100% it first, so that'll likely take me a week or so. And then immediately following Forspoken, I'll be jumping onto Risen, because also the day this video is going live, Risen 1, an old title from Piranha Bytes, is receiving an update on Steam that I have been waiting for to actually check the game out, as Risen 1 in particular is considered to be one of Piranha Bytes' better games, and what little bit I played of it before I found out it was getting this update had me intrigued and I was enjoying it quite a bit, and given how much I've enjoyed Piranha Bytes' other titles, I'm definitely looking forward to checking out Risen. And likely to follow right on the heels of that, we have Hogwarts Legacy, the open-world Harry Potter game set in, I believe, the 1800s, that is due out on February 10th, which means timeline-wise, it's probably going to follow the Risen review, maybe even a little bit before it. But my main interest with Hogwarts Legacy is whether or not it manages to actually pull off what it's trying to do, which is, of course, an open-world Harry Potter game, and there's just so many things about that, especially with being a student at Hogwarts, that can make a potential game somewhat limiting. And with all of the sort of pre-release material kind of giving you the impression, at least, that you can sort of choose to play this how you want, that is to say, go with a sort of darker vibe to your wizarding world, or a more traditional fight against evil route, they seem to imply you have a lot of options. And again, I'm just curious to see whether or not they can pull this off, because while a game like this certainly has potential to be great, it also has potential to be terrible, and we'll simply have to see where it lands. Now, after that, the exact order of the reviews gets definitely pretty hazy, so we're just going to list off the ones with a set release date, and then we'll talk about some of the older games. So as far as games with set release dates go, next up we have Atomic Heart, which is a sort of bizarre shooter set in a sort of dystopia where technology has gone awry, and naturally you have to get that sorted out. And while from the gameplay it looks like this one has the potential to be fun, I think what it's going to boil down to for me is whether or not its systems can make it unique enough compared to many other games in this same style to warrant it being worth the asking price, as this is one of those games that has a bunch of additions for pre-order, one of which is like $100, the base game is $60, despite this being like it's going to be more of a AA experience. So again, we'll just have to wait and see, but it certainly looks interesting, and it could go either way. Next up though, we have Wolong Fallen Dynasty, a game from the developers of Neo that is set during the Three Kingdoms period of China. Obviously though, heavy on the fantasy, and it will see us taking a relatively unknown officer to the heights of a legendary hero as we fight all sorts of fantastical beasts. But the developers behind this one are known for their Neo series, which has very much so highly praised combat systems, which has me looking forward to Wolong. Next up, we have Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the follow-up to Jedi Fallen Order, that sees us picking up the mantle of Cal Kestis again as we advance his journey even farther. And honestly, there's not too much to say about this one. It It is a sequel to a game that was very, very well received. Jedi Fallen Order was very good. I've reviewed it myself previously, and it's one of those games where, if anything, I just wanted more of it. So if Jedi Survivor can provide exactly that without losing some of the things that made the first title unique, I think they'll be in a great place. So definitely looking forward to that one. From there, though, we have a few of the older titles I also want to cover in between releases here, but the exact order is, of course, going to be highly variable. First up, we have Hades. I want to try to get this one knocked out before Hades 2 launches, but Hades is a critically acclaimed roguelike ARPG, and as a fan of ARPGs myself, I'm imagining I'll likely enjoy this one quite a bit. And while it's very clear no one is waiting for my opinion on Hades, as it is a game that has received overwhelmingly positive reviews, nonetheless, I want to check it out before its sequel drops so I can more directly compare the two. Then afterwards, we have Chained Echoes, a sort of love letter to JRPGs that was developed by one person and released just last month in December, actually. And I like a nice JRPG as much as the next guy, combined with turn-based combat that I hear is quite good, and just a game that has received quite a bit of praise, especially since it has been highly requested from the audience. And I've heard it does a good job of sort of removing some of the padding that JRPGs tend to be known for, which has me pretty excited to take a look at it. Then we have Othercide, a highly praised TRPG that released a couple of years ago. This is a game that looks very interesting, as we lead an army that is considered to be humanity's last hope against sort of Lovecraftian horrors, using a unique timeline system for its combat, but I understand it's turn-based battles. But all the requests that I checked this one out, combined with just the very unique aesthetic that it has, with a lot of striking visuals, and my own personal love for a good TRPG, makes for a game that will fit right in on the channel, since I cover a lot of TRPGs and CRPGs. Last on this particular list, though, at least as far as the next couple months of reviews go, we then have 7 Days Long Gone, a sort of isometric stealth game that seems to be relatively niche, definitely more of an indie title, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've received a few requests to check it out, and after investigating a little bit after all of those recommendations, it's a game that has certainly piqued my interest, as it seems to combine things that I love about an RPG with some relatively unique elements, especially with the stealth system that it has, and I'm curious how this one actually turns out, which makes for a great review of an older title one way or the other. But that is all I've got for you guys today. That is what the next couple of months of content are looking like. A lot of big new releases, a lot of great older titles I want to check out, so it should be a pretty fun couple of months either way. But regardless of all that, truly, just thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for being interested in what I do and the reviews I'm going to cover. And if you're actually excited to see any of these, definitely remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. But regardless, thank you. I really do appreciate it. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.